This gentleman's going to be at the Improv tonight. TheImprovOrlando.com for tickets.
That's how you get them. One show, so you got to be quick.
On Zoom with us right now is Sammy Obeid. How you doing, Sammy?
Hey, Tom and Dan. How we doing? Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, man, thanks for being here. We certainly do appreciate it. Welcome. You're coming to Orlando. You're coming from Boston? Where are you coming from?
No, I came from Los Angeles.
Los Angeles. Okay. Oh, you're coming from LA, and you're because I was looking at your Twitter this morning, and I saw you going, or on your blog rather, that you're going to Boston soon. But hey, man, thanks for taking the time to pop in here via Zoom.
Of course. No, it's one night in Orlando, and got to make it count. They all said Tom and Dan is the place to go.
Thank you.
Who told you that?
Yeah. Krista just told you that.
Krista's very, she's very kind. Yeah, we're okay. Yeah, we do our best.
So Sammy, I feel bad even asking you this question because, you know, when even doing our research about you, like, it's a question that I'm sure you've answered 1,000 times in 1,000 media interviews.
1,001.
And speaking of 1,000, you did 1,001 comedy nights. Now,
we like to start with the stuff that no one fucking asks ever. We like to go with the,
the obscure questions.
Give people something new.
But I got a variation of it. Maybe you haven't been asked. So I heard in an interview when you were talking about it that you were on number like 700 or 800, and there was a night that basically you were waiting and they ran out of time, and then so you hauled ass over to some Irish karaoke bar just to get in a set so you could accomplish your goal that night. And so then when I heard that story, it dawned on me that you were doing all this for yourself, not necessarily like a promotion.
Personal goal.
Which is a great promotion, by the way, but it's because you could have just lied and no one would have known.
Yeah.
Well, he would have known.
Yeah.
And that night you speak of, I got punched in the stomach. So that was a good reminder that I went with my gut.
Yeah. So obviously, like, going up and doing stand-up at a karaoke night is awkward as hell. Everybody's, the stories, everybody's booing you. You got punched.
I mean, you're not it's not a target-rich environment, right? Those people, like, don't know why you're there or care.
So why not just skip the night and just say you did it? It's just one night, 732, but once you got to 1,000, no one, is it because you couldn't do it?
Yeah, so that exact thing, and this is, I will commend you on a very original question. Never heard that one before. And that actually happened to me. It was like night 176 or something.
Okay.
The same thing happened. Couldn't get on a show, drove all around San Francisco looking for a spot. And at some point, like 11:30 p.m., I was like, you know what? Maybe I just tell people I did it. And the streak stays alive. I don't stress out. Win-win. And after a little bit more driving, I had the thought that I don't think I could live with myself telling that lie and telling people I did comedy that many days in a row when I actually skipped a day. And I realized I couldn't deal with the guilt. I had to do something. And at that exact moment, I saw this bar where I once did an open mic, and I went and I asked the owner, I said, hey, can I perform for these 10 people? And he let me on. And ever since then, I was like, I'm going to do that worst case scenario.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's almost like a craving. It's like you only had to give yourself like 15 minutes to talk yourself out of, it's like going to get like chips or a cookie for me. It's like you only had to give yourself enough time to really be Sammy, and then you realize, no, that's not me. That's not authentic me. That would drive me crazy. Plus, all of that work, just thinking all of that work, and you ruining it. Oh my God, man.
Yeah, that's why in the 900s it got real stressful.
I bet.
Yeah.
And you were also extremely tired. And, I read a couple things, actually one interview I read where you really couldn't physically write a joke at that point.
Yeah, the last 200 days, I was so stressed out, and I was having anxiety attacks from everything, from the pressure of finishing. Because at that point, I told everybody, and when you tell everybody, like, you have to do it, and it just killed the creativity inside. I couldn't even write a single joke, but I would still do really well on stage, even though I was dead inside.
So, Sammy, okay, that's what I wanted to ask you about.
I should be laughing because
you just gotta turn it on, right?
Because here's this is what I find interesting, because everything in life's about reps, right? The more reps you have, the better you get.
Yeah.
But there is at a certain point, like even in exercise, you talk to like triathletes and stuff, where you have to take breaks because you get diminishing returns after a while.
Or it could just be straight detrimental. At some point, it becomes toxic to you.
So I'm sure, was there a point in the 1001 Nights where you felt like you reached your peak and then it started there, you got diminishing returns after?
Totally, and that was day 667.
Okay.
Oh my God, the devil! The devil was. It was like the day after. He's like, I'll give him one more.
Exactly. Yeah, one more. One plus the devil. Yeah. Yeah. You never hear a trainer like, do 1,001 reps and then take 10 days off. You never hear that. So I definitely learned. I definitely learned the importance of a night off or a day off of literally anything you do to gain perspective. That was really the biggest lesson I learned from the whole thing. But I did get like a kind of momentum that no other comedian ever had. And so I will say that finishing that 1,001 days felt very good.
Oh yeah, well anything that's like would you do it again?
Hell no.
Okay. All right. Because like sometimes you see these people they'll go like there's a climber right now that's scaling all 14 of the highest peaks and she's trying to do it within like I think like 90 days or 180 days. It's something ridiculous. But like sometimes like you're a young guy. Like when I didn't realize your age, so when I was looking at all of this and seeing that you were doing this, there's all these articles that you see and you're like, I'm 29 at the time, and I'm like, my God, this is a young like you're going to be so good at comedy when you're old. Dude, you're like, my God, you'll have 50, 60 years of reps.
Isn't that crazy though? I spent a third of my 20s doing 1,000 days of comedy. So
how did you fall in love with it? How did you fall in love with comedy and wanting to do something some people would say crazy, but I would say you obviously love it. You love it.
Well, and before you start, I just want to that was going to be my next question because you've got your math degree from Berkeley. You're like
math and business. Yeah, he's a smart guy.
And that
I want to be a math guy so bad, and I'm an English guy, and English guys are idiots, and math guys are smart guys.
It just seems like
start counting more. That's all you got to do.
So how do you go from math teacher and then to comic?
Yeah, people are always like, you did math and business and then comedy. You must be really smart. Like, how smart can I be if I chose comedy?
All right, that's fair.
So people would always tell me I was funny. Friends would always tell me, oh, try stand-up. It's something you kind of take lightly when a bunch of people say it because, I had other things going for me. And then at some point when I graduated, I was like, I don't want to I don't want to be an engineer. I don't want to be an accountant. I like connecting with people. I like public speaking. So I gave it a try, and it went really well. Comedy went really well for me in the first few years. But to be honest, I don't think I actually loved it till like last year.
Really?
Yeah. I feel like it took me like 12 years to actually love comedy. And by love, I mean like wake up craving to write and create for people and inspire and spread love. In the beginning, it's more about the results. It's more about like I love the feeling that I get when I'm on stage. I love that I'm good at something, but now it's like I actually love the craft.
Do you think the pandemic had anything to do with that? Like being stuck inside?
Did.
Yeah.
It did actually. I was starting to love it right before the pandemic, but the pandemic happened and suddenly all comedians, we lost our livelihood, as a lot of people did, obviously.
Right. Sure.
But the ability to connect with people in person, that was what we did. And so I started basically a virtual comedy club within the first few weeks of the pandemic. It was called KO Comedy. It still exists, actually.
Nice.
And in the beginning, we would do Friday, Saturday, Sunday every week, and I would host those shows, and I would have the same following come every time. So I would have to write a new 15 minutes for every night. And that act of writing a new 45 minutes every week really made me appreciate the craft of joke writing.
It's really, really hard. Is it difficult for you to hold yourself accountable? I mean, not to make that the entire theme of today's show, but to put yourself on that hook and say like, okay, remember, you have to do 15, you got to, does that pressure drive you or scare you?
It drives me, but the cool thing about, like, for instance, when I was hosting these shows and having the same people there, they know you so well that they will just be listening to your every word, and they already know your sensibility. So you can just kind of talk about your day and they'll find it hilarious,
Right.
So you get kind of an ease there. And so yeah, that helped, but it was also very motivating knowing that I couldn't repeat a joke. So you do have to be like, I need to say some fresh stuff today. What am I going to say?
That's cool.
Sammy, what do you think is like your mentality that allowed you to be fine with the Zoom comedy shows? Because we heard from so many other comedians, and I'm sure you have too.
Yeah. He's like one of one that did not complain.
They couldn't. Some of them didn't even try.
Yeah, they either hated doing it or they didn't do it at all.
Some of them tried one and they couldn't stand it.
Most of our old timers, I'll say, like if you put him in like the Pepitone group of people that call in here. He's never gonna. He's like, fuck that shit. I'm not doing it. I don't do it.
But some guys like
that's
try.
Actually not true. I got Eddie to do my show once.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, you get him do it once.
He's so sweet.
Anybody, and I'll tell you, anybody who said I hate Zoom comedy, Zoom shows suck, never did my show. We had the best Zoom show in the game.
I love it.
And the reason is because I figured out at the very beginning that what makes Zoom shows suck is that you don't get the audience feedback that you want. So we had a group of what we called VIP designated laughers. We'd have about 20 people who had to turn their cameras on, and they're people who willingly wanted to engage. Some of them were shirtless, but who cares? They were laughing. Yeah. And the comedians got the instant feedback that they wanted. We had a DJ, so we made it as much like a live show as we could, and we did the best we could. It's still not the real thing,
right?
But it was the methadone of, you know what I mean? Yeah.
That's crazy.
Well,
man.
you figured it out, and so Sammy, I'm like going back to having a math brain, and I say it like that because I think people that are exceptionally good at math like just think differently, or their brain works differently than other people. Like I know some people math doesn't compute to them at all, like they just can't even comprehend it. And then so have you met a lot of other comedians that have a brain that works like yours? Do you find that it helped your career in comedy? Because I imagine that it works a little bit different than other people's brains.
Most comedians aren't as organized. I would imagine that to some point you have a good level of organizational skill.
Yeah. In terms of how I have my jokes and files and stuff like that, it doesn't apply to like my car or my room.
Okay.
But yeah, you know, there are a handful of other comedians who either have like a tech background, they were engineers, math majors. Not a lot. I'd say, you know, maybe like 20% of the comedians I meet are more like math inclined. And you know, the thing is, like when it comes to people, I would say half of people are math people, just they don't always know it. You know, we either tend to be like language people, or we tend to be more like math, logical, you know, computational kinds of people. So yes, most people, like there's a lot of math people, and that's why a lot of people do like relate to the way I think. But I will say it gave me an advantage in terms of how I approach the art of writing jokes. It's all a process. Everything's a formula. And once you kind of discover that formula, it makes joke writing a lot easier.
Yeah, like I heard, I think in one of the articles I was reading about you were talking about how you categorize, or you started very early on categorizing jokes with like giving them a rating, right? Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. You know, a lot of comedians, they'll do this thing like, oh, that's A material, or that's B material. They'll grade it on you know, the letter grading system. But I wanted to give my jokes the benefit of the doubt. So I say they're all A's, but some are A pluses, some are A double pluses, some are A triple pluses. Yeah. So I started A. That's the lowest I go. And then I just go up from there.
That's some good self-confidence, man.
Well, I also feel like just based, okay, now following here. See, I'm not like that. I don't have a lot of confidence. You guys know that. I struggle with that.
Yeah.
But I feel like naturally, if you use the mindset of, well, why would I put it out there if it's not A?
True.
You know, like I kind of like what you're, man, I was, when I was reading this article, I'm like, and you used a word earlier when you were talking about how you like to go out and you like to quote, inspire. I like that. Yes. Like you have a good vibe. Like when I was reading the article, I was like, yes, of course he's succeeding because, you know, you read a person like this, you're like, oh yes, that's the person that should succeed. You know, like.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Seems like a good person.
Oh, I just thought of something, Sammy. I'm going to get real deep for a second.
We're really high right now. We're so stoned.
No.
My God. Okay. All morning we've been tooting crazy.
I'm sure you've seen all this new AI and with all the AI talk and with people using it, and then even to the creative AI where like it'll just, you know, present to you a portrait or a picture of something you thought of randomly, and it's starting to get creative, and it's only going to get better. So do you think,
or worse?
there will be a time where AI will be smart enough to be as creative as any human could be.
AI stand-up?
Like, yeah, like, do you think AI could create stand-up
Good jokes?
that could actually be funny to a group of people and then them not determine whether it is...
And they can't tell the difference.
Yeah.
Yes, I do. Because people often say, "Oh, have you listened to ChatGPT's jokes? They're so bad." But yeah, like so were mine in year one.
Yeah.
Good point.
Give the AI some time. I'll take it on the road. It'll open for me. Then it'll be doing its own.
Give it
then it'll crush your skull.
Yeah, give it 10 years, and then you
Yeah.
take it on the road. And if it's female ChatGPT, you can masturbate in front of it, like all male comedians do, right? That's what you do. You masturbate in front of it.
Yeah.
You threaten to
I want to get canceled by ChatGPT.
Yeah, you're never gonna work in
sure.
Hollywood
Wouldn't that be
again.
Yeah. Yeah, no. I definitely think they'll be capable of writing jokes that humans won't be able to detect if, a person thought of it or ChatGPT thought of it. But the nuance of delivery, that's something that would take an incredibly long time for, them to master if they created some kind of bot that appeared like a human and could tell jokes in the nuanced way that we can, or be able to read a room in the way that we can. That's going to take decades.
That's true. That's very important. Reading the room. If something's not going well, you got to pivot, right?
Well,
is a robot going to know to do that?
Well, I mean,
It's
it's
going to start killing the entire audience.
It scans. I've seen the movies. It scans with the red laser. It scans everybody.
I
It's
mean,
like, all right.
It's gonna scan the room.
I'm at Apollo.
They're
I need
smiling.
to change my set.
There's like a series of cameras at the top, and it scans the room, and then there sees.
If AI starts headlining shows, I'm going to change my career to heckler.
So, Sammy, tell us about the reality show that you were hosting, because
I mean, you were with the big dog, 100 Humans, right?
Yes, 100 Humans on Netflix.
Yeah, man. I mean, when you're working for Netflix, is that hard, or is that like super? I mean, not that I don't want you to say anything bad, really, unless you can. But like, was it hard hosting? Did they let you be funny?
Oh yeah, so the thing is, we worked more with a production company versus like Netflix itself. There was a couple Netflix execs that would show up, and they were very cool, very fluid, and like liked everything I was doing. The issue with the show is, first of all, it's reality TV, so you can be loosely scripted, but we had to deliver certain lines in certain ways. I guess my one complaint about the show is that it wasn't really staffed with comedic writers. So if we wanted to say something funny, we either had to do it ourselves or we had to write it ourselves. And not everything we wanted to say was allowed or they were okay with.
Sure.
So that was kind of the only issue in terms of like being able to be fully expressive on the show. But the actual filming of the show was super fun. I mean, we had complete control of 100 human guinea pigs. You know what I mean? We were doing experiments on them, and we were the heads of the experiment. So they looked up to us. We had the point of authority the whole time. It was a very fun show.
Did
That's
you
awesome.
learn anything about human psychology or sociology when you were doing it that you were surprised about?
Yes. When people ask me this question, I tell them the most blown away I was on the show is when we did this experiment where we had the humans build towers out of pasta, like an 8th grade kind of science class kind of thing.
Yeah.
They're building towers out of pasta. And then one group, we tell them, you're doing it for money. Whichever team builds the highest pasta building gets paid. And then the other group, we said, you guys are just doing it for fun. Just have fun. Try to build the tower high if you can, but just have fun. And the group that had fun built the higher towers than the group that was getting paid.
See, Tom, it's not
Work
all
can
about
be
money.
fun, Tom.
Not all about money.
Oh,
this
how
guy
is that
hates
possible?
fun.
This guy just yells, "Get to work" every day.
Yeah, he's a slave driver. He's saying get to work all the time. He values money over his own sons.
No, what
There
was?
you go. There you go.
No, come on. No. So what is it, Sammy? Is it the pressure's off so people?
Yes.
Okay.
So what I observed initially, because I watched the whole experiment, was that the groups, so these were teams, by the way, and they were working together. The teams that were doing this where the money was at stake, they started bickering with each other and arguing about how to do it. And that held them back because they had a time limit. They had about 20 minutes to build this tower. And all that deliberation basically made them eat up a lot of time, and they weren't able to build it. Whereas the group that just had fun, they're like, let's just build and see what happens. So, you know, if you know construction
Loosen the
workers,
reins
just
a
be
little
like, hey,
bit over
try
there.
not doing it for pay this time.
You have no idea how mad Tom just got when
No,
he saw you say
I understand.
when he saw you say let's just build. He was like, ooh,
Let's see what happens.
He clenched his fists hard.
All I heard is emotion ruined the paid. If they wouldn't have argued and they wouldn't have got angry, they would have built.
Right. So the team itself is important. If the team can work together, then maybe it's better to pay them. I don't know.
There you go. Fun and money. Why not? That's cool, man. Are they going to bring it back? Do there any plans to do another series with it?
I don't think so. I think at this point it seems like it's not going to happen. But I still want to do some experiments on my own channel. So I've been plotting a few. I actually posted a few earlier this year. So I plan to do some more.
Nice, man.
Sammy, speaking of experiments, and you and I'm not sure if you do it anymore, but you had a super interesting podcast where you talked to people about like their
medical conditions
that they normally didn't talk about, like
pre-existing condition.
When did you come up with that?
That was an idea that I'd been sitting on for quite some time, and I finally approached a comedian friend of mine who's a doctor. This was in 2019, and we only podcasted for 1 year. She ended up leaving it for another project, but we had a great time. We talked with a lot of people about all sorts of conditions, from ADD to flat feet to anxiety. So we learned a lot, and I'm really big into like alternative like healing and natural remedies and stuff like that, whereas my partner, she's a doctor, so she's very familiar with Western medicine and all the typical ways you can heal stuff with medicine.
Have you done ayahuasca?
Yeah, I've not tried ayahuasca, but my doctor friend actually endorses it. So
doctor endorsed.
She's a cool doctor. Yeah.
The cool doctors give you all the fun stuff like ayahuasca and medical marijuana.
Podcast.
Sammy, what do you think about it? Because everybody that tells us a story about themselves doing ayahuasca has a positive outcome. On the other, they're glad they did it. They're claiming it opened up pathways.
Their lives.
Well, except for that one lady who screams, "Give me back my husband." Other than that,
hey, so what do you think about doing ayahuasca?
Oh, I spoke with a friend not too long ago, and she really convinced me. She said it was horrible the first night. She said the first night she was throwing up. She hated everybody she was with. She was like, "Why am I doing this?" And didn't even want to do it the next night, but she persevered. And said that like the next night was just a complete opposite. It was just like perfection, bliss, and she had all these self-revelation. So I'm really sold on it. I don't know when or where I'm going to do it or who I'm going to do it with, but I think I want to try it after what I heard.
Well, now
I want to do it with Carrot Top.
He's local.
Hold on, he's local. And Fred Durst. Hold on, I have a honey hole list.
Okay.
And Billy D. Williams.
There you go.
But he may be dead. I don't know if Billy D's still alive.
Well, now you don't have to go down to the jungles of Peru anymore.
No.
There's
you
like
go to a church. There's a church in every city.
Right.
Well, there's like upscale hotel rooms that people like celebrities do the ayahuasca in like nice environments.
Let me get that.
Well, the jungle huts. I was like, I don't want to go all the way down to a jungle.
Can you become addicted to it? Because I enjoy throwing up, so I'm afraid I might.
Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, like
it might be like a microdose thing. It might be available in vending machines pretty soon. So we'll see.
I mean, everything else is. Well, hey, man, we're glad you're coming to Orlando. TheImprovOrlando.com to grab those tickets.
Oh,
one show tonight at 7, right?
Yes.
One show night, 7:30. Yes.
7:30. 7:30.
Yep.
Snag those tickets. One more question, Tom.
I was just going to ask you, Sammy, because just from, the 1001 Nights and just from hearing you talk and speak about writing and the discipline of, doing it every day. And then I was curious, do you find yourself addicted to the grind that it takes to become successful or better at something?
100%. I'm a workaholic. I think I get it from my dad. I spend every hour of the day thinking about work, which in comedy is weird because we only actually have work for 1 hour a day. So
right.
I spend a lot of time. I do all my own booking. I don't have an agent or manager. I do all my own travel booking. So the whole process of lining up a tour and executing that tour is a full-time job in itself. And I spend the entirety of my day thinking about it.
Do you have to specifically take breaks and meditate or something just to get your mind off?
The balance.
I'm sure you could burn yourself out with.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so how do you manage that?
Yeah, well, I make sure I get my sleep. I work out. That's a good break. Helps me let off some steam. And I know it's not as big in this state, but I am a marijuana fan.
Okay.
So I occasionally smoke a few times a week, and that gives my mind a creative break from the kind. I'm a very left brain person without it. So it's a nice break, but who knows? Ayahuasca soon.
I was going to ask you about marijuana because we all like marijuana here, and in Florida it became medical, so we basically.
So of course we all have horrible conditions where we need it.
You don't even need, just
right.
You just go get it and whatever. But when I take marijuana, I find that sometimes. All of a sudden, I start having idea after idea after idea. It makes me more creative, and then it causes me to sometimes work more because all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I thought of this idea, and so that doesn't happen to you.
It happens all the time, and but what's different is it makes me really, really love what I'm doing. Not to say that I don't love working. I'm addicted to working, but sometimes when I'm high and working, I'm like, now this is fun.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah, you get into that flow state where everything is coming to you, everything, and then you're like, that's even better. This is even better. I'll do this.
Yes.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about, man. That's awesome.
Well, Sammy, it's been great talking to you. We appreciate it.
We hope that you'll come through, and maybe if you're spending extra time in Orlando, any other time than tonight, we'd like to, get you on the couch. Swing on by and come see us.
I definitely plan to come back, maybe in 6 months to a year. And I'd love to come and say hi to you guys.
Yeah, man. Let us know because this was super fun and we'd like to do it again. And again, guys, theimprovorlando.com. Sammy, thank you so much for the time, man. We appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate you.
All right, man. Take care. See ya. That is Sammy Obeid.
Yeah, super nice guy. Super smart, too.
Wow.
I didn't get to ask him about running for president.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It's on the sheet.
He's going for the world record of the longest running candidate. Running for president in 2036.
Oh, I like that. Oh, so he's starting it now.
Well, he started it a couple years ago.
Oh, so he's just going to continue going.
Yeah.
We should have asked him if he really.
I think he started in 2017.
Because doesn't it cost? How much money does it cost to submit the paperwork? It's expensive. I think.
Yeah, I thought it was.
Is it $20,000 or?
I have no idea.
Or is it $5,000?
We'll ask him next time.
Golden Palace to put.
He'll be back before 2036. We can ask him then.
We'll ask him. Yeah, by that time, who knows?
All right. See you guys on some other show we do.
Yep. All right. That was good. He was great.
Yeah.
What is that? Oh,
it's its own thing.
Sammy.
Yep.
And what we'll do is we'll give a small commercial for Science Night Live since they wanted a little extra push.
Well, then I'll just throw that in your Dropbox because if we're gonna put a commercial in front of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we'll do. All right. All right. What's next?
What do we want to do? Do you want to do a segment for next week? Because we are all done for this week. All we have is Cadillac Pat later, and that's not till 2.
Let's do 30 minutes. Let's do 20. Let's do 20 minutes.
30 minutes of ayahuasca.
We'll do 20 minutes, and we'll do a Monday 3.
Monday 3. Did you guys see that Lamar Odom has Bam in one of his rehabs now?
No, really? Mm-hmm. Let's talk about that.
He got released from the psych ward, and he went straight to Lamar Odom's rehab.
Yeah, maybe he'll get help.
Needs to get on medication.
Crack. He needs to get on the crack every day until he sees his son.
Crack was making it worse.
Was he smoking crack? I thought he said he wanted to.
I don't know. I mean, he was manic as hell.
All right, here we go. You want to bring us back or start us?
We'll come back.
Okay.
And this will be next week. And what's happening next week? Anything?
Let's see. What is happening next week?
It's the 16th, 17th.
Mm-hmm. I don't have anything.
Is there? Well, it's Father's Day.
Yeah.
I'll just plug.
Oh, the river cruise.
Yes. Yeah.
Won't you take me on a river cruise? Ooh-wee, ooh-wee, baby, ooh-wee. Remember that song? Mm-hmm. Let me take you on. I think Jan Terry did that song, if I remember correctly. Remember Jan Terry? One of the first unfortunates to ever get singled out on the internet?
Jan Terry.
Yeah. Tom will remember Jan Terry. Okay, bring us back.
Yep.
3, 2.
Welcome back to A Corporate Time. A couple things. We've got the comedy and karaoke river cruise.
This sounds crazy fun, man.
Yeah, it's June 17th. It could be a little Father's Day gift.
Yeah, buddy. You're on a historic little riverboat, right?
Yeah.
And you can either go upstairs and sing karaoke or downstairs and watch comedy, and then you switch.
And have dinner,
have dinner, all the dinner and everything's
I'm into
included.
This. Yeah, that's an adventure.
You can get your tickets at tomanddan.com right on the top of the page. Also, what else is going on?
No.
Why'd you do that? Why'd you say also?
Because he never
could have pivoted.
Because he can never stop. He has to always give him a little more. Give him a little more.
No,
Well, you didn't
nothing
have
else
more.
is going. Oh, you can get our merch discounted 15% if you use promo code DAD for Father's Day.
But don't pay full price because we need the full price. You can use the code.
There goes our margins.
You can use the code, but I go in every morning and I look to see who uses the code, and I judge you a little bit. I'm like, you code users. Goddamn
15%.
code users.
It's not even that much. Just give it to us.
Yeah, who needs that? You don't need that.
All right.
What are we doing here? Oh, we're going to talk about the unfortunate, the continuing saga that is Bam Margera.
Oh, yeah. So he's at Lamar Odom's rehab now?
Yeah, he got checked out of the psych ward yesterday.
Is
Remember
Lamar
he was put
Odom
on a 5150? I can't speak to that. I don't know, but he does run, I guess, multiple rehab facilities now.
Is there a rehab that you don't have to do any group talking or activities?
I don't think so.
Isolated, like solitary confinement. That's what I want.
Well,
just leave me alone and get me off the pills.
Like if the celebrity rehabs, they're kind of like resorts.
Yeah.
And then
but
you still got to do like group therapy.
You got to do a
and
lot
I
of
don't
team
want
building.
that. Yeah. I don't like the team building.
Yeah.
I don't like
trust falls.
I don't want to build a team.
Yeah.
I don't want to
like do a rope course.
Sit around in a circle and talk to everybody.
Share.
Yeah. I don't want to.
And then when people say what happened, they're like, I drank all the mouthwash in my bathroom and I pooped my pants.
Can I just go to a resort and then they give me
they knock you out?
Well, the medication so you don't have to withdraw as hard.
Give me the Suboxone.
You just do that at home.
And no, I want to be in a resort setting.
I want some palm trees. I want some jet skis.
And then I eat clean.
So an empty resort?
No, I mean it has other people at a bar.
You just ignore everyone.
They're distant.
And I'm California sober, so I'm taking weed.
You're smoking weed. You're in a tiki hut. You're in Bora Bora. Everybody's at least 30 feet away from him. You can see them, but they're not interacting with you. No trust falls and no ropes course.
And then if I want to drink, I can responsibly. One or two after that.
I don't think.
So what are you in rehab for?
No, they don't have that because that's what Bam was doing.
Just go to a resort.
No.
Well, that's what I want to do.
That's what Bam was doing. In fact, Bam. There's a video out there. It was the funniest one. None of them, they're not all funny, the Bam videos. But this one was funny because he talks about how he had convinced April and his dad that he had it all under control because all he needed every day were 2 lime White Claws. That's it.
That's what I said.
I know. That's what he's like. Sam, can you find that video of Bam?
Oh my God, I saw that to Crystal yesterday.
He's like, I figured it out. I told, and he talks with his teeth together. He's like, I told April, and Bam, his dad, Phil, all I needed was 2 lime White Claws. And I'm like, oh no.
Somebody mix that with Tom.
2 lime White Claws. And he says he figured it out.
Yeah, he's right.
And
so the first thing that came up was Bam Margera says White Claws sent him back to rehab.
Oh, don't play White Claws. We're sponsored by White Claw. Bam,
he's right. There's an equation. 2 limes and you're good.
Bam Margera says cops took him to rehab after a loved one saw him drinking White Claws.
It's 2 limes.
Yeah. He was just have his daily 2.
His daily 2.
If you look up on the internet and how much an adult male can drink,
it says 2 lime White Claws.
It says
specifically.
It says
sponsored by White Claw.
2 drinks and you're fine. There's a lot of conflicting
There's a lot of
reports
mumbo jumbo, a lot of misinformation.
But they're like 2 drinks, you're fine. And so he was right.
They're getting Bam out there.
Anyway.
But yeah, was it the one where was he in a car talking about? I think when he was talking with that podcaster girl. Remember the last interview we were talking about, and Bam's talking to this podcasting girl, and then she's kind of like egging him on, and she knows what she's doing to get the clicks. And I think he tells a story about needing 2 lime White Claws every day, and he's like, I had it dialed in, I had it good to go.
Yeah. And when you're talking to an addict that obviously has a mental illness as well, and they start telling you about their routine and how they're keeping it straight, there's something behind the scenes here. You're free base. You're doing that move where you're heating some sort of drug on tinfoil and you're inhaling the smoke or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's way worse than usually what they're telling you. Just because you could see it, you're like, well, there's no way you're just having a sensible 2 lime White Claws and that's it. I mean, look at your face. Look at you. You know what I'm saying? It can't
look
be.
in the mirror.
I'm trying to find this video.
Yeah.
Maybe it's already been scraped, but I remember that. Well, yeah, the whole thing is sad. So what's gonna happen here, right? Do you think this Lamar Odom?
Dude, people have you seen Artie Lang? He's been sober for a while.
Yeah, he's good now, it seems like, right?
He says that it's every hour by hour, but apparently he's been clean for us. And when you're seeing him on an interview, you're like, man, like he's clear-headed. He's talking to you like a normal human. You know what I'm saying? His nose is still a little deflated.
Well, I think he said, I read in an article that he said he doesn't fix his nose because he wants it as a reminder.
And then
I'm like, well, I mean, couldn't you just get you could put a reminder in your phone to go off every morning at 6 a.m. to remind you and fix your nose. I mean, that's what I would do.
When you see and hear what Artie Lang did to his body for so many years, and then, or even like the Iron Sheik, who passed away.
R.I.P.
It's sad.
We lost Iron Sheik and Luca.
We only lose the good ones. Luca died on the same day Iron Sheik died.
But he was 83, and that guy put his body through some the ringer, right?
Yeah.
Like,
pretty bad.
Could you imagine the drugs and the alcohol and
the way that he treated people?
Testosterone, just as daily, the stress on his heart.
Can you imagine
travel.
him in a tiny car driving through Tennessee, right? Working one of these lower level wrestling matches, because that's what they would have done back in the day. You would have had probably a 30-year-old Iron Sheik in a tiny car with Hacksaw Jim Duggan
and Jake the Snake.
Yeah, and Jake the Snake in the back, and they're driving from Kentucky to Tennessee to make another thing, and they're all coked up. Yeah, they're doing all the drugs.
Jake the Snake is still alive. Like that guy,
he looks good now.
So in this article, it's saying he refuses to fix his nose because he's afraid that it will get him addicted to painkillers again.
I knew it was something. I knew it was like a reminder thing.
Yeah. Well, because I'm hardcore.
He wants to just stay away from surgery if he can. Yeah.
They'll probably have to give you something. It'd be excruciating with nothing. But anyway, when you see these people and the poisoning they did to their bodies, and then Iron Sheik lived to 83. So so it tells me. Obviously, there's anomalies.
It's genetics,
in genetics and stuff like that. But the human body could take a lot. That's all I'm saying.
Now,
some can't, but some bodies can.
And this is all everybody if you're going to tell the tale of Bam, this all kind of started spiraling out of control after Ryan Dunn passed away, right? Is that sort of what we're going with?
No,
this has always been there, right?
He's got bipolar and
you
addiction
can't just
problems.
blame it on somebody.
He's a bipolar addict.
Yes. It's bigger than just your friend dying and passing away.
He was a bipolar addict before this.
Yeah.
He's been a bipolar addict his whole life or whatever. Maybe it got worse or whatever. But looking at one particular incident, I think is kind of BS. Now, maybe it got worse, but it's that's kind of pity party. It's because my best friend died. This is what caused it. Not that I have a mental issue and an addiction problem, and I'm not. It's it's caused by this, and it's and now it's come on, there's. You can't just point at your friend. Lots of people's friends die and families die and stuff. They don't spiral out of control and become a bipolar addict.
Right.
You had mental illness, obviously, for a while.
So are we gonna? You think he'll be good? We're gonna bet on it.
I don't think he will.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Because he was kind of forced to do it.
Really?
Right? I mean, he was 5150. He was locked up for 3 days.
But so was Steve-O, and so was a lot of addicts that.
Yeah, but they were at least taking some accountability for their actions. He has not done that yet.
It makes me feel like, now this is just my take. It makes me feel like the difference between Steve-O, 5150, accountability, come out, success story, and bam, 5150, come out, and who knows, is just purely intelligence level. Like, just like Steve-O is a smarter cat. He always has been. We didn't see it, but he's always been a smart dude.
Dude, sometimes intelligence makes addiction worse.
Yeah, it could take you the opposite direction.
Yeah,
that's true.
Because you start not, you think you're smarter than the treatment, right? Because it's like you think like, oh, this works.
All I need is 2 White Claws.
This works for the majority of humans, but I know better. I could cheat some way or find some loophole.
I'm not everybody.
Yeah, I'm not everybody.
I'm me.
Yeah. And then you think you're better than the process, and then you never buy into it. It seems like everybody who buys into the whole program can live a healthy life after. You know what I'm saying? But you have to 100% buy into it.
Because he'll go in for like a month, and then he'll look.
I was gonna say he's done rehab before.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Many.
But this is the classic. I mean, there's so many people that have done rehab, dozens of times.
And did it like 60 times.
And then
right?
sometimes it sticks, and then they're good, and then sometimes they die, or they just never stop. It's an endless.
Probably got to find the right chemistry or the right person to kind of talk to you, and it has to get through.
It's all subjective, Like I mean, there's been plenty of people that never made it, and they tried over and over, and just they kept coming back, and that's all, I guess. And now,
I guess that's all you can do, right? Like, you can't stop trying if it doesn't take. You have to keep trying.
Also, it depends on the drugs, too, because, like, I feel like coke or amphetamines and stuff, you could live long. Like, you get into pain pills.
What is
opiates,
he addicted to?
And then
do we know? We don't know.
Who knows?
Like,
I think it's just, his mom says booze. Obviously booze.
The opiates, it seems like you OD, right? You get a hold of the fentanyl or the wrong opiate, you OD. Right, but the others, I feel like you go back to, and it doesn't. I'm sure it does some damage internally, but you don't OD as much as the fentanyl. It's like if you're an opiate addict.
Yeah, but now everybody's putting fentanyl in everything, so it doesn't really matter if you're not even trying to take it.
Yeah. So it's like if you're addicted to a drug that doesn't have fentanyl in it, it'll give you the best chance, right?
Right.
Because that's what it seems like. It's just people are ODing left and right.
You guys want to do a couple of voicemail messages?
Yeah.
All right. Let's try. Look through these. Let's try this one. The old ticket arcade.
Tom and Dan and Sam. Hey guys, it's Kenny. Listening to Tom talk about the ticket arcade stories, there actually are some games where you scan your card and then you have to scan it again in order for it to get on that specific card. And the reason that they kind of do that is, like, let's say multiple people are trying to, win one person a prize, or like they're all trying to combine their points for the kid. They're able to all play, and then that one kid can take their card and get all the points just on one card. It's a bit more efficient that way. But I will say there's a local establishment here, might be a little old Dave and Buster's. They do that too with some of the games, especially like those coin machine games. And part of my Scamsel wave is every once in a while when I play it, I'll walk around and see like which dodos did not scan to get their ticket. And I'll look around to make sure they're not anywhere nearby, and that it's completely empty. And I'll just go up and I'll scan my card, just swipe them tickets, get them tickets, suck them all up, get them all on my card. Anyway, I'm probably going to hell for it.
You're stealing from children.
My God,
Kenny,
man.
what are you?
Kenny,
for what? A sticky hand?
It's the worst thing you've ever said on the show. You didn't need to say that.
You're wandering around arcades, scoping
Creepy.
out.
Why would you admit that? Why would you admit
You're an
that?
adult.
Like, we had a very high opinion of Kenny, if not the
This
highest
takes everything
opinion.
away.
It really does. It's like we put you on a pedestal as like the member of our crew, right? As part of our whack pack, part of our, the R team, and we make you basically the king of it, and then you call in because you can't help yourself, just telling horrible things that you've done. Why? Why would you tell us that?
Is that moof behavior?
and all the stuff.
I'm very surprised
that they offer for the tickets. It's like scratch-off tickets, right? It's like the scratch-off ticket industry, they print out the winners, they are fully aware of how many tickets they need to sell.
It's all scheduled.
And how many prize money is all printed. So
it's a guaranteed make.
So when they put them out there, they are like, we will make $200,000 profit off this, like minus the prizes we give. You know, it's a 100% guarantee. There's not one ticket like, $1 million.
They're budgeting the money, man.
It's the same thing with slot machines. Like
it's all budgeted.
People like play slot machines all the time, and they go to like the Seminole Hard Rock, and they're playing slot machines, and then they have these stories that like, oh yeah, I'm a long-term winner, and I'm like, you're telling me a math that cannot exist. Do you understand what I'm saying? Your statement cannot exist.
Now,
short-term winners.
I love slot machines, but I also know how they work.
Yeah. You can win short-term. You can go and put $1 and win $1 million if it's a $1 million progressive jackpot. It's happened. But you understand that it cannot happen long-term.
No.
Like, you cannot go day after day and win long-term. It's impossible.
That's why people walk away.
It's impossible with any game unless you're cheating on blackjack.
Let's
counting
try
cards.
this one right here.
Yeah, it's just not my...
BDM Justin here.
Hey, what was his friend saying in the beginning? Were they arguing? It sounded like they were arguing. Listen to this.
Yeah, it's just not my...
BDM.
He's like, I don't know. It's just not my thing. I don't want to touch guys.
Justin here. I pay $195 every month, so my opinion is pretty strong in this category. I think instead of a fish tank, we should probably get a plant corner for Tom, since he's not allowed to have that at his house anymore.
No.
And that way we can watch the plants die together. Anyways, just a thought. I'll hang up and listen.
We do have one plant now that was for Luca.
Yeah.
He didn't really care for it, though.
No, he got on it like maybe once or twice. And here's another lizard one.
Yeah, this is regarding the corporate time little segment talking about lizard pets. It's been 3 different houses, but every house I buy in New Smyrna Beach, somehow the great magnet comes through and I get a garage gecko. I know they're different geckos, but I always name him Lawrence, and me and him are out there, you know, just enjoying some like little toot pins every night, and he keeps my garage fly free. So I support the Florida lizard.
Okay, there you go.
Oh,
well, he's dead.
I just figured something out. yesterday, Modern Plumbing finished our outdoor shower, and
that was quick.
That's great.
God.
Yeah.
Geez Louise.
Yeah, they did it in a day. They're super
fire.
fast, efficient. It looks great.
Wow.
And
modernpi.com.
So there was one like barrier plant that I couldn't plant in a pot or whatever. So I planted it yesterday, and then there's a tiny baby lizard that hopped out of the soil. And then it crawled onto my hand, a little brown anole that was like microscopic. No. What if that was Luca
reincarnated?
It was on my hand, and then I called my sons over, and they crouched down next to me.
You gotta go get one.
And then they looked at it. I'm like, look at this tiny little baby lizard. And then I told them, I was like, Luca is not doing well.
What'd you do with him? What'd you do with the baby lizard?
Well, I just let him go into my
you
yard.
gotta find him. You gotta find him.
Well, I don't know. There's no finding him. Anyway, that in my mind, I want to believe. I'm joking. I can't believe.
I know. You were trying.
You
tried it, then you felt stupid.
So someone
Luca did not help with the bugs. If anything, more bugs showed up.
Oh, wait till he starts decomposing. Wait till he starts
swatting
decomposing.
flies crazy yesterday.
Maybe he was eating them, and then when he got so weak, he stopped eating them, and that's why I don't know.
So many. This place is a dump. And then he died. I feel really bad. Right before my big beer release. Selfish mother ever.
Well, this is this will play after it, so
it all runs together for me. You want to try this one?
Yep.
All right, let's try this guy right here.
I was outside on a smoke break recently with one of my coworkers up here in Minnesota, and she has an above-ground pool, and so she fills it up, once a year. And she's telling me that it takes about $300 to $400 to fill it up. So I was curious. Down in Florida, you obviously don't have to empty your pools because you don't have to worry about it freezing like we do up here. But do you have to refill it, or is a yearly cost for the water that you guys have to deal with on that? I know Tommy got a pool. I don't think Dan, I know you don't. I'm not sure if Sam does or anybody else that's there visiting, co-hosting, or whatever. But how much does that cost you guys down there on a yearly basis, water-wise? Because I found it quite interesting. Only $300 to $400. You cover it, you keep it clean, and then it's filled. So is it kind of like that down there? Do you have a yearly cost on that? Do you have to like empty it? And I don't know how it works down there because
we get it, sir. You're circle talking. Now it's like listening to myself.
Just like you, Tom.
I swear to God, I didn't understand a goddamn word he said. Like it was all. I'm just like, stop.
So here's how it works with pools because I figured I encountered this.
They call you Tommy Skimmer.
So when we had our pool redone, that was the only time we had to literally drain every inch of water.
Yeah, is that when it almost popped out of the ground?
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
you had that old black guy who was pushing the grit around. He's like, I put extra grit in there. It's gonna be stiff for the next 5 years. It'll rub your goddamn calluses off.
That's a longer story how I wanted a deal. So I tried to be my own pool contractor, and I got a tile guy, and then I got a surface guy.
And then he got a guy known as...
You pieced it all out?
A guy known as Cool Deck Joe.
And then the first guy, he disappeared, and then he left the drain plug in the bottom, and so it was empty, and then the kids were like skateboarding in it. And then we were all having... And then someone, like our pool guy came by, and he's like, how long has this pool been empty? And then I'm like, I don't know.
Too much.
I'm like 10 days. He's like, it could explode out of the ground any day now. And
it's a ticking time bomb.
And it's gonna be violent. Like the water table is pressing against the bottom of the pool. I'm like, you feel it. You can feel it vibrating.
But then the old black guy's like, that won't happen. I put extra grit in there. It's like a skateboard. It's like grip tape.
Andrea checking in the chat, and she said the bottom of Tom's pool will rub your feet raw.
Yeah. Well, that's you got the extra grit.
You gotta paid for that.
No, it can't be smooth. It's unsmoothable. It's like standing on broken glass.
No, when it's smooth, it's ruined. Anyway.
What's that song? Walking on broken glass.
That's when I figured out there's some big bolt. You know the drain at the bottom of the deep end?
Yeah.
Well, underneath...
They call that the Widowmaker.
Underneath that drain, there's a big bolt.
And it holds you. It connects to God's... it connects to God's roots.
And that bolt basically goes is like a porthole to the ground.
Yeah. And there's a little raccoon underneath it on the other end.
So you need a tool, it's like a big key that you put in the bolt, and you turn it, and then you get that bolt out, and then water was starting.
Why would you do that?
Because it releases the pressure that's building up because your pool is beneath the water table because the water table is so shallow here.
Yeah.
So basically the water table's pushing. It's like a boat pushing against your pool's all one shell, so it essentially wants to rise like a boat, and that's what causes it to violently explode out and break in half. Like this.
Oh man, I bet that sounds crazy.
Look up pictures of pools.
I want to watch a video.
Explode. I don't know if they ever caught it on video because it's random. Like it just when the pressure gets just enough. Anyway, so when you take the bolt out, the pool will fill to where the water table is and then stop. Which is fascinating because my pool filled like a quarter of the way and then stopped. And then I was like, whoa, wow. Like I didn't realize how high how much water around the pool was pushing up on it until you take that bolt out.
Okay, here's one.
Oh, look how much damage it goes.
Oh my God.
Today I'm working on a project that a swimming pool service provider drained a swimming pool to do an acid wash for $1,200. What they failed to realize is the lake level is only down 20 inches below the top of the pool. As you can see, the pool is lifted out of the ground about 16 inches. I have to use 2 dewatering pumps to remove the water from underneath the ground.
It pops it out of there.
God damn.
And it ruins it good, too. It's like this is a $50,000 thing.
Yeah. You might as well start with a brand new pool, right?
Yeah. You have to rip it all out.
No. Actually, it's worse than starting with a brand new pool because first you have to clean up everything you destroyed.
So anyway, back to the water costs. So then, yes, I
would never fix that, by the way. If I walk out back and I look and it's all destroyed, I'm like, well, we're moving, or like, I'm done.
So the cost of filling up your pool is $300 or $400, but you get 1 credit, and I'm not sure if it's every 5 years or something from your water company, but you have to notify
I thought it was
them.
once a year.
Is it once a year?
I thought so.
It may be once a year.
Because I had a above ground pool at my old house, and we filled it up like once a year.
Okay.
Yeah, and you let them know.
And you let them know, and they give you a credit where they'll give you cheaper water or reduced price of the water, so it doesn't cost as much.
Whatever happened to the old wives' tale of being able to call the fire department and they would come and fill up your pool? I
never heard that before.
I think my dad told me,
Yeah.
I believe Dan R. Dennis, the, patron saint of the show, I believe that good Southern man would call the DeLand Fire Department.
And they'll come and fill it up.
Or you may have been lying to me. Is that a real thing?
We talked about.
I can't imagine that's real.
We talked
no,
about
back
it
in the day, not now.
Yeah,
I'm saying
so
in the 80s.
In the 80s.
In the
80s. Firefighters even had less to do.
Yeah, but it's like taxpayers' water, right?
There was no fentanyl in the 80s, so they didn't have to Narcan as many bums. So they went around getting cats out of trees.
We don't have to Narcan AIDS.
Yeah. Before fentanyl, they had time to save cats and fill swimming pools. Anyway, like my water bill.
Do you still have Shorty's number? He was a firefighter in the 80s, wasn't he? He's an old firefighter. Who's our oldest?
He's gonna beat you up.
I know. He's gonna push me down for that one. Who's our oldest firefighter buddy?
I don't know if we have.
The old chief. Or he retired.
Well,
I see him in public sometimes. He doesn't like me very much. He'll see me and I'll wave to him and he's like,
we need a grizzled old chief. But I remember that urban legend too. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense because what are they? Because essentially, what are they gonna like hook up to the local fire hose and give you free water?
That's what I'm saying.
I think that's
also their time and effort is like better spent not filling up swimming pools.
I think that's what they would do. It wasn't from their truck, like somebody in the chat room said. Even if they could, you wouldn't want it. Fire truck water is full of rust. Well, that I didn't know.
Yeah. Also, the water that's in a fire hydrant, I don't think you can drink. Right? Is it reclaimed?
I have so little fire hydrant knowledge. It's not even funny.
Yeah. Like, could you fill a swimming pool with fire hydrant water and swim in it safely? I guess once you add the chlorine
and the shock and all that.
Yeah.
It's fine. Kids in inner city streets, they're drinking it.
It is clean. It is clean.
Okay. Clean to drink.
Flipping in it.
Seems like a waste to make it clean enough to drink. Like,
I agree.
Like we're just.
I don't want to. Hold on a second. If my kitchen's on fire, don't come in with the diarrhea hose and spray my kitchen down.
Oh, it's ruined anyway.
No. But I mean, when I'm walking through there, picking up my memories, I'm picking up my old cookbooks and photos. There's diarrhea everywhere.
Have you ever seen a sign like next to a sprinkler saying like "Do not drink this water"? It's like reclaimed.
I thought that was for dogs.
So they use water that's not safe to drink.
Yeah.
Also, I always look at that sign. I'm like, I didn't need the sign.
Hold on.
I wasn't going to drink the water.
I have to talk about something that. Do we have enough time to talk about it? Let's power through. Right. There is a product that I've seen. It has to do with water and grass. There's a product that I've been seeing advertised, and I don't know how it works, and it's called Dog Rocks. Are you familiar with Dog Rocks?
What is that?
It's these little black rocks, and you put them in your dog's dish, and then you pour their water on it. And if the dog drinks the water that the dog rocks are in, when they go out in your yard and pee, the pee will not make a burn spot on your grass.
What?
Like the rocks.
What's the science behind
Don't
that?
know. I have no idea. I only bring up the most intelligent things, dog rocks.
So is it because...
What if we put the rocks in our water?
I don't know.
What's the chemical that burns the grass? It must be some sort of...
It's like ammonia? No.
Ammonia? Yeah.
Urea? Your urine is urea and water and...
So is the rocks release some sort of base that makes your urine less acidic or something? Like, it's got to be something like that.
It's an Australian product, I believe. I believe the rocks come... Their origin is... They're Australian in origin.
Mm-hmm.
And they're little... They look like coal. Like little pieces of coal, and you put them in your dog's water dish, and you put their water on it, and then they drink the dog rocks water.
Yeah,
they don't eat it. And then when they go to the bathroom, you won't see those big yellow brown stains
in your grass.
And I was like, well, who the hell thought of that?
It works by removing the nitrates from the water, and it does not change the pH of your dog's pee.
But how?
Do not.
Isn't that a crazy product? That's a
I don't
crazy
like
product.
that. I don't like that it doesn't tell you how.
Right.
It's suspicious.
Is it good for your dog? Is it bad for your dog?
It says it's perfectly
fine.
I know that
it's natural, right?
Yeah.
And it doesn't affect their pH balance.
There's lots of poisons that are natural, by the way.
Oh my God! I'm sorry.
It acts as a neutralizer and filters out impurities in water such as tin, ammonia, and nitrates.
Okay.
So the ammonia, we hit it on the head.
Yeah,
we were right.
Although I've never had grass nice enough to actually turn yellow. Like
we did.
Like,
we would have like really good grass out front, and then
like some zoysia. Like imagine some zoysia would be.
I don't even know what that is.
It's a specific type of grass.
Yeah.
I know. I don't know any types of grass.
It's really fancy.
That's an old man thing.
Grass.
Well,
then you got your standard. You
St.
got
Augustine.
St. Augustine is like what you see out here.
Yeah.
Then you got your turnpike grass. That's your bahia. Yeah,
You got
that's
the only ones I know
seeds
are
itself,
the
though.
ones we said are Bahia, St. Augustine, and Zoysia.
Yeah. You know, you got to get your sod from Duda.
Excuse me?
Duda's where the sod is.
Yeah.
Duda's where the sod is.
Yeah. That's
what
the
does
best.
that
That's
mean?
the best sod farm
It
in
sounds like
Florida.
It is.
kind of-
Favorite cheese is Gouda. Favorite sod is Duda.
If you don't,
That's what I say.
if you don't get your sod from Duda,
What are you doing? Hold on, write that down. If you don't get your sod from Duda, what the hell are you doing?
That's for all our landscaper listeners that that only they
We
know.
like to throw a little secret landscaping joke in there now and again.
Yeah. The only other jokes they laugh at, racist jokes. I can't say those. So it's Duda or racism. All right.
Yeah, we keep going. Hold on, I got more voicemails. Let's just keep going.
All right,
You just chill out over there. Let's go with this one's this one is concerning.
All right.
Hey everyone, my wife's a veterinarian and you'd be surprised what she's willing to put down. Nothing like too crazy. She's actually turned down people that were just like, I don't like this dog anymore, I'm gonna put it down. She's like, no, you need to find a new home for it. But if something like is aggressive to little kids, she'll put it down. If it's waking up in the middle of the night and stomping around and keeping you up, she'll put it down. They won't judge you.
What?
Go for it.
Are we talking about here?
Yeah, so this guy, when
Killing dogs?
we were
Yeah.
talking about Maggie, my mom's dog, which is really and truly the only thing I have left living of my mom and dad because it was their dog. It's like the last memory. I feel extremely confident that once it dies, I'm gonna go on just a manic.
Bam! They call it the
I'm
Margera.
gonna go on.
Oh my God!
Full Margera?
I'm gonna go full Margera.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna get silver fangs. I'm gonna start wearing a lot of pewter jewelry.
Okay, yeah,
I'm gonna
yeah.
coat myself in rings. I'm gonna get a heart, a gram on my pubic mound. Tattoo on my pubic mound.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna start talking through my teeth. Like, I'm gonna talk to my teeth. Like
If I
this.
squint my eyes and you wore a hat and some scarves,
No, I'm gonna-
you'd be,
and then I-
mini Bam
and then I'm gonna
Margera.
put my hoodie up.
You'd be mini Margera.
I prefer to be called Bam
Mini
Bam.
Margera.
I prefer to be called Bam Bam.
Oh, okay, all right. Yeah,
Little
yeah.
Lil Bam.
Can you dress like Bam Margera for the beer release?
Do you want me to? I don't have enough scarves.
Little Bam Bam.
So I got Lil Bam Bam. I gotta have scarves, all my scarves, and then I could get a Bentley,
yeah.
and then I could choose to not see my wife and child.
Well, they'll choose not to see you, right?
Right.
Yeah,
Well, they
yeah.
already kind of do that.
So what's weird is why don't the people that like you have this dog, you're a horrible person, and you just want to kill it.
I
Because you don't
want
want
to kill
anymore, right?
Maggie because she gets up occasionally in the middle of the night. Okay,
So-
like that. My whole point of playing that was, look, sir, I see what you're saying, and your wife might be a vet, and I'm sure she's great, but I don't think we're there yet. Maggie was real bad about 3 weeks ago, but she had some antibiotics for a tooth problem she had. She's good now.
So there's
she's good.
3 things with that. The person that just doesn't want their dog anymore. A, why don't they just drive it to a populated area and let it go? Right? So because then it's like someone else's problem, and also you don't have to take care of it. B,
I don't know that abandoning the dog is a good idea either.
No, well, I mean, they were putting it to sleep. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like it's got a better chance if you just abandon it. Like, don't abandon it in the woods. Like, abandon it in Baldwin Park. Like,
let it get hit by a car.
No, well, some rich person
I wouldn't do it
Listen,
around
Yeah,
here.
dude. People run stop
But I
signs
know,
crazy.
I
Well,
get
you
what
were gonna
he's-
kill it.
I get
Well,
what he's saying.
I'm
yeah.
saying, if
varying degrees of
why you're dry. Like this person saying that the wife's a veterinarian, and someone came into the vet's office and say, "I want to put this dog to sleep. I don't like it anymore." Instead of doing that, just abandon it. At least it has okay. If it gets hit by a car, or gets hit by a car, you were going
Why
to
don't you
kill
just
it.
take it to like a shelter though?
Shelter's another one.
Yeah,
Or-
he's saying that's on the table, but he's just saying anything other than death.
I can't understand why you'd.
He
and
just
then also-
goes about it a weird
Fending
way.
for itself is it could be really potentially bad.
You're paying to kill it, though.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
So anything is better than paying to kill it. Also, you're paying for it. This is a free option, just like letting it go. Or letting it go and put it in a box in front of a dog shelter. Like Pet Rescue by Judy will take your dog.
Will take it.
That's what they do.
But it's not even an option, man. Like, it's not even on the table. We're not there yet.
What do you mean?
Do vets do that?
With Maggie.
Well, they said they'll do it. They won't do it if you say I just don't like the dog,
right?
But they'll do it if they say the dog's old, is not having a good life.
If you say the dog's incontinent and old, then they'll either
100%.
say, well, we have someone here who'll take it, or they might put it down. I've heard of that many times.
I mean, they put down in shelters dogs that are perfectly fine.
Yeah.
All the time.
I know. I'm saying like
the
the question is, will a vet put down a perfectly healthy dog?
I think it's vet to vet, but I think perfectly healthy
that also hasn't like attacked a child
like
or
old,
something.
like senile, old. I mean, no, I don't mean like perfectly healthy. No, like Maggie's, she can't hear, she can't see, she's not perfectly healthy, but she's certainly
they'll put that dog, no problem.
They would put her down, but she's not ready yet. I mean, she's fine.
Last thing. The person that goes in there and asks to put the dog down because they don't like it anymore.
I'm just not that person. I can't.
That's
do
a
that.
monster.
Yeah, I can't. Sam, you know me pretty well. Do you think I could fucking do that? I'm gonna walk in there with the only thing I have left.
I don't know
parents.
who could do that.
Right.
Yeah, people have different relationships with animals.
Or don't get any effing animals if that's what you're gonna do.
You know who could do it? Jonathan, our friend Jonathan, the meat man. He could do it.
So
he's a no-nonsense farming man.
But he likes animals, and if the animal's like suffering,
he put it down.
But so this is different. So the third point is if while you're driving to go put your dog down for no reason other than you don't like it, right? And you're hell-bent on it.
Oh, that's a horrible person.
And
yes, that's what I'm saying.
But wouldn't you think to yourself, the vet's going to ask me why I'm putting this dog down, and if I just say I don't like it, like why not just say, hey, it bit someone and I have to put it down, because then it's a guarantee. If you tell,
well, if you do that, you're oh my god, it bit a child. You're doing that just to get it killed. You're lying to get it killed.
You probably would, right? Otherwise, you're just a monster.
Well,
what he's describing, what he's describing has probably happened hundreds.
That's
if
what I'm
not
saying. Yeah, that's probably what most people do instead of telling the truth. Because I don't know, but would a vet, if you told them the truth, would they put the dog down? They're just like, hey, I just don't want this dog anymore?
Well, this caller said that his wife will not. They say, no, I will not do that. You have to take it to a shelter. But what I'm saying is I'm confused by the person that even said that. Why? Like, wouldn't they know that the vet is going to be like,
right.
Make up a lie if that's, you know what I'm saying? Like, what?
Like, to me,
so weird to
look,
me.
It's a personal thing because, like Tom said, everybody's got a different, degree of a relationship that they have with animals. For me, like the only time that I put like Caesar and Isley, it was when they were suffering. You know, like they couldn't stand, they were incontinent. You know, like you don't want to live like that. And when you get to a point where normal life is no longer an option, that's the switch for me.
Well,
but not just getting old, not just being blind, not just barking. You know, that's what dogs do.
Well, there's levels of what you perceive to be not a good life, and that's subjective to the dog owner. So that's up to, I always look at it like your dog, you know what's best for it, unless you're a crazy animal. I feel like most people that are dog owners, the person that cares the most about that dog is the owner, right? So what am I? My opinion doesn't matter because this person owns the dog. So obviously it knows better than I do.
Right.
Unless, like I said, they're insane and want to put a dog to sleep. Because the most insane is they're paying for it. Just let it go. Just drive it somewhere and let it go. You're paying to kill it for... Why? That makes you really insane.
Maybe you think that's the correct thing to do, I guess.
Less cruel than an abandonment?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's not, though, because there are plenty of my wives out there that if they see a stray dog, they're either taking it to a shelter.
You're taking a chance of that if that person even sees that dog.
But he gambles. He's a gambling man.
Again,
so he'd rather the dog gamble on being killed than definitely be killed.
Yeah,
I see what you're saying.
Also, you're paying to have it killed. Just let it go. It's going to end up fine. I would say you have a 95% chance of the dog ending up in a shelter or rehomed if you let it go in a populated area. Most people are going to call animal control or take it to a shelter itself, right? You know, like at least call animal control.
I think on the sad answer is I think most people are just going to mind their business.
Oh, yeah. But I'm saying eventually, like it's not going to starve to death outside.
No,
it could get
not around here. It will not. There's too many restaurants and too many people, and we're packed too close together. Yeah. This would be the perfect, other than the cars that Sam mentioned earlier. This would be the perfect area.
Go to a residential neighborhood and let it go. Eventually, some neighbor is going to call animal control, or you know what I'm saying? It will end up in
the chat room sad. Let's move on. We're circle talking. Let's do Chris Streama.
Hey Sam, Tom, Dan, this is Chris Streama. Just wanted to call and let you know that this week is actually 2 years since I stopped drinking.
Hey.
And I just wanted to let you all know that a lot of things are different. I don't do the segment or stop doing the segment because I'm just getting used to doing life this way, and I'm not as open and willing to, I guess, be vulnerable like that, and I kind of would just say anything. So it's a little different now, but I did want to tell you, the one thing that hasn't changed is I'm still a BDM. I've always listened to you guys for, oh my gosh, like forever. And I am a low-paying BDM, but I do live out of state, so I don't get to come to the awesome events. But it's just been a lot of ups and downs, but it's a lot easier to try to be happy when you've got people making you laugh. So really and truly, you guys, everybody on the show, everybody that does the segments on the show, I just absolutely love you guys, and it just helps me. It does help me get through life. You guys always make me laugh, and when I'm having a bad day, or anytime. So I hope you guys have an awesome day, an awesome week, and love you. Bye.
We love you too.
That was very nice.
That was a very nice message.
No, was she drunk while she was doing the segments? Or drinking?
I don't know.
I never noticed.
I don't know that she was drunk while she was doing the segments. I just think that she
just in general,
drinking in general.
And I think,
and she doesn't drink anymore.
Yeah, and she said that it kind of like a lot of people, like her drinking kind of accelerated during the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think most people did, and then she saw changes, and then she didn't like those changes, so she just went the opposite direction, and she's thriving now. So that's great. Well done, man.
I'm just always curious when someone's like says they're a drinker, and then I'm like, okay, well, I'm a drinker too, and then
just like you, Tom.
and then
you want to drink?
But then they were like, oh, yeah, like, wake up and I'm drinking. And then I'm like, oh, not that.
Yeah, I'm
not
that.
You'll get there. Yeah. Just give it time.
No, I can never get there because that's the...
He's not like that.
That is what...
Have a little fun. Have a couple White Claws in the morning.
Tells me...
Just two limes.
Well, why are you doing it because you're in Tahiti and you want to...
That's different.
You know...
Yeah, on the cruise, I'm drinking in the morning.
Me too, man. I love a good morning drink. That's the crazy part is I get frowned upon because I really do like it if I have something to do. Like, follow me here. Scooter in the garage, 10:30 on a Saturday. I'm like, let's crack one beer and get to cranking on this thing. Let's go, right? No big deal. But that is villainized, man. That is not, you're not supposed to do that.
Yeah, you can. You need it? Are you drinking?
No, I don't need it.
On the way to work because your hands are shaking?
No.
You know, like there are levels.
There
it's
are
a spectrum.
Levels, yeah.
You know, it's like,
no.
Yeah. And so I don't know, which type of, drinker Christine was, but I'm glad it does seem like everybody who's called it quits sees a lot of benefits.
There's a...
do you know anyone that got sober, their life got worse? Not me.
Well, I want to hear.
There's got to be one, though.
I'm going back.
Yesterday, there was actually an article that came out where... they're talking about how the prices of concert tickets will continue to go up because younger people are not drinking. So for those of us that like going to, these grandiose concerts, your Taylor Swifts, your Blinks, your Red Rock.
They're not making as much on concessions.
They're not making as much on concessions because the younger generations are moving further away from alcohol, and the number one thing that they're doing before concerts is they're taking edibles and then going to the concerts, and they're drinking water, they're drinking sodas, but they are not drinking. So you got these companies that threw all their money behind big seltzer, right? And then you got all these things out there, but the younger, it's us. It's these us old people, not old, but middle-aged.
We grew up on alcohol.
Yeah, we're drinking it. We're the guys still propping them up, but the young guys, they're not. So if you like concerts, looking at you, Sam, The tickets are going to stay
Oh, I
high
know,
because we
but
need
that's-
these.
it's
We need you to drink so the tickets come down.
They're not. That won't change anything.
It's not going to happen.
Any big show. I mean, dude, the Matt Rife tickets are. He didn't price them that much, but
Bananas.
they sold out so quick that people are selling them for hundreds of dollars.
Am I the only one who's never heard of that person?
No, there's a lot of other people.
Because I saw that and I was like, what? Who is that?
It was literally either people that were obsessed with Matt Rife posting about it or people that are doing the Thomas. I don't even know who that is.
Which is
Is
great.
Which
for
are
him.
you?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, it's got people talking.
Either are great. You know, you're just as important to him. The confused guy that says, "Who's that good-looking comic?"
Because
I've
you're
never heard of.
saying his name.
Well,
Yeah.
is a younger generation comic or something? Is that
He's
why?
been around for years.
He really has. You know, I knew who he was, but it's funny. Like it's now he's being framed.
He
as
blew up on TikTok,
Yeah.
and that's why everybody knows him
Okay,
now.
so social media.
He also, when I first heard of him, he was
accelerated.
never framed as being the beautiful man comic. It was just he's a comic. You didn't really think about him being super
He
attractive.
got his teeth done, and
Yeah,
now got buff.
Yeah, now he's like framed as like being this really
Which is-
good-looking guy, and it's helping him. So good on you,
Yeah.
buddy. Good
All
on
right.
you.
We will see you tomorrow.
Awesome. That was a big fat segment.
Yeah, it was funny too.
Nice work, y'all. Where are we going now?
Lunch.
And this goes
Monday 3 and 4.
Holy moly.
Yeah.
We are ahead. What's the date?
The 12th.
Can you send Tracy that comedy cruise commercial?
Yep. I do need you guys to do a commercial for Sammy Obeid.
Oh, yes. All right, guys. Hey, have a great lunch, everybody. We'll see you back here